My name is Mary Jane Bailey. I live in Pasco. I'm going to be giving you some handouts for each of you. And so I'm going to try to go through the points quickly instead of reading everything so that you can get more in. First of all, Barbo's home to the largest power plant in Rhode Island, as well as 2 interstate pipelines and compression stations. Right now there are 8 power plants in a 31-mile stretch, and I'm going to include for you a picture of just what I'm talking about there. There are 2 more proposed, this one and one in Killingly. That'll make 10 in this small area. This plant cannot comply with the Rhode Island Resilient Act of 2014 because we know fossil fuels are simply dirty fuels. They're outdated. And instead of Rhode Island going backwards, why can't we be a leader and press forward and go more towards with the renewable energies rather than these outdated, dirty sources? We hear so much about climate change. There's been meetings in Paris, recently in China. And this comes from Invenergy's application. They've listed all the things they'll be putting into the air, including 3.6 million tons of carbon dioxide annually. And if you do the math, that comes out to 10,000 tons per day. So it's not a clean plant, because if it were a clean plant, they also wouldn't have to apply for a major pollution permit. All right, going through their application again, I did some research. 14 of the things that are going to be put into the air are 14 of the same carcinogens, not substances, carcinogens, cancer-causing agents that are in cigarette smoke. So that means those of us who live within the plant distance, I'm less than 2 miles, I'm going to be smoking 24/7. I choose not to smoke. I won't have a choice. The need for this plant has been called into question, and again, we've heard 2 sides. That ISO says yes, it's needed, and yet it took Invenergy 4 rounds at this auction to sell less than half of what they plan on producing, and there were another 6,000 that wasn't able to be sold. So we have to question, how badly is this needed? The electricity isn't going to us as Rhode Islanders. It's going to be going up to Boston. So how are we supposed to benefit from this? And this is one of my favorites. Now, I've lived on Wallen Lake Road for most of my 63 years, East Wallen Lake Road for the rest of that time. I've worked within 3 miles of where the plant's going to be for the last 25 years. Invenergy's traffic expert told us that traffic won't be a problem. And when we raised questions, her answer was, well, it works on paper. I'd be ashamed as an engineer to say that, I have to say. Now, I can tell you that within that 2 to 3 mile stretch that they're going to be using, there are 3 very accident-prone sites. 2 of them are in the vicinity of Wilson's Reservoir, a very pristine body of water. And where these 2 accident-prone places are, there's even been fatalities. All right, there's one house now that has planted trees in front of the road because there's been so many accidents there. The wall that the state put up in the 50s in front of the house I grew up in has been hit numerous times. All right, I can see my time running out, but also on that road, there's a blind corner. The trees, the hydrants, the telephone poles, the cemetery have been hit there. That's where I work, at a small private school. And if there's an accident with one of the ammonia trucks that come by, and ammonia is so deadly, I don't know that I can get the children out of that school fast enough that someone won't either be hurt or perhaps die. All right, that's a big concern to me. All right, let me make my 2 big points. If this wasn't right in the 80s, and now we have more people, DEM owns lands up there, the Boy Scouts have expanded, we have state parks. If it wasn't right then, it's not right now. Invenergy has lost out twice on on what they wanted to use for water. They have no plans for water. We're in a water emergency. We're in a drought situation. Worcester has run out of water completely, and yet they may be drawing as many as 1 million gallons per day. We in Pasco have to buy our water now from the neighboring village because our water source was contaminated 15 years ago. The aquifer simply cannot support that. So we're going to give them water for power we're not even going to get, and then our wells are going to go dry, our aquifer could be spoiled. Lives are more important than money. And I thank you very much.